Hi everyone, so welcome to another pregnancy update. This is going to cover weeks 21 through 24. And yes, we are back in our bedroom because we've been making some changes around the house with furniture, swapping bedrooms for my son and the new baby. So we'll get into that in the updates because I started those projects towards the end of this 4-week period that I'm going to be updating you guys on. So I'm going to start doing these more, I'm not going to say more frequently, but I'm going to just kind of condense and put just a few weeks together just because sometimes there's not much going on and then sometimes there's a lot of stuff going on and lots to update you guys on, so just kind of bear with me. So we're going to just go ahead and get started, and like my previous updates, I will have them kind of pop up just randomly in the cards here where you can click it and it'll take you straight to those videos, and I will also insert some belly shot photos for these previous weeks that I am updating you guys on. So let's get started because we've got lots to talk about. Okay, so I have my notes per the usual. So I'm going to start with week 21. And in my last update where I covered up to week 20, I had mentioned that I had gotten a cold. So I finally, in week 21, was able to make it to a doctor's appointment and get a sinus rinse kit, just because being pregnant, you can't really take much over the counter for colds, like those multi-symptoms, cold and flu things. You can't really take those types of medications. So basically, you have to kind of power through it. The sinus rinse kits are really good because it helps relieve the congestion in the nose and gets rid of any sort of buildup. So I did find that helped me out a little bit. I also, at that appointment, they do vitals and stuff like that per the usual. The doctor said that I had developed a heart murmur, which I've never had one before, so that's kind of weird, but he says it just could be a pregnancy thing and that it may not even be that big of a deal. I mean, it might be just induced by pregnancy, which is fine because it might just go away after I have the baby, so it doesn't really matter. So at that appointment, they also had me step on the scale, which, as I mentioned before, I'm keeping track of my weight, not because I care, because I need to control it and lose it afterwards. It's just something that I want to document because I didn't really do too much in detail documentation of symptoms and appointments and things with my firstborn, so I want to do that with this baby. And so far, by week 21, I had gained 22.6 pounds. So, averaging about a pound or so a week since the beginning, and that seems to be right on track to where it was with my first pregnancy with my son 6 years ago. I gained about a pound a week. So I went to 41 weeks of pregnancy and I gained a total of 40 pounds. So almost a pound a week. I started noticing that week as well, in week 21, that I had some swelling in my hands. So I started incorporating silicone wedding bands. You can get them on Amazon, a couple different brands. And I will show you here because I have my jewelry next to my nightstand. Just plain old silicone bands. You've seen me wear these before in videos. And so I'm able to today get my wedding set on. But when my fingers get to the point where they're really big and I've got sausage toes, this is what you'll see me wear more often. Or nothing at all, just until after I give birth. Week 21, I also started to notice that I have to do like these weird kind of rolling motions to get out of bed, and it's gotten worse. Or when I'm sitting in a chair and I'm like leaning back, because that's where I'm in my bed today because my back has been bothering me a lot. So I've got my pregnancy pillow, which I will be doing a pregnancy essentials kind of things that I've been using that have made this process a little easier. So I've got a couple pillows behind me, kind of help supporting my back. But getting out of bed to use the bathroom, or if I'm laying down watching TV or a movie, it is a little bit difficult. When you get to the point where your belly's pretty big, it's like you gotta do this rolling motion like a roly-poly trying to get out of your bed. Or my husband helps me get out of chairs, or when I need to get out of the car, he'll come around and help me because he does a lot of the driving. All right, so week 22 was a huge week because we finally got our anatomy scan done at week 22, and they usually do that around week 20. But because of scheduling, like every time I try to make an appointment, they're completely booked out, and I had to go to the radiology department in the hospital to get this done. So it's kind of scheduling with what they have available. And because of the holidays, that's when I was closer to the 20-week mark, Christmas, New Year's, and that really made it a little difficult to get in at the 20-week mark. But it's okay because it's done and everything looks really good with the baby. Everything has, thank God, has been really well with the development of the baby. We know for sure the gender. I mean, I already knew because I knew what my gut was telling me. And what my doctor had said around 14 weeks, that he was about 60% sure that he could tell in that ultrasound that I had done then. And I just knew at that point, there was really no question about it, but my husband wanted to wait for this anatomy scan before we started buying pink or blue things. So that's exciting, and I'm going to get to the whole gender thing and kind of share that with you guys in a separate video. In my previous update, I also mentioned that I had a mild case of placenta previa, and that came from a different doctor, not my normal OB. And when they were doing the photos, which at the anatomy scan, they'll take a lot of pictures. I mean, they must have taken at least 80, maybe a few more than that, of the baby, like the head, the organs, the bones, the legs, the face, the profile. So cute because we could see the baby's nose, the lips, the chin, the hand was kind of up by the face. It was so cute. It's such a magical thing to be able to see that and experience that and see what your baby kind of looks like, even though it's not in like a 4D where you can see like actual lids and lashes and all that kind of stuff when you get really far along, which I think I might do that. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do those 4D ultrasounds, but it's really cool anyways to see baby moving and to hear the heartbeat. Everything looked really good. So the placenta previa, I mentioned it to the technician, so they were able to take more additional photos of my placenta, and then my doctor said that the placenta previa looks like it had resolved, which was an issue, and that just means that if you get diagnosed with this, that the placenta is really close to the cervix. And I was also told that if it resolves itself, then I'll be able to have a vaginal birth. Otherwise, if it doesn't, in certain types of cases, it might not, then I'll have to have a C-section. So the plan is to do vaginal now. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. So that's a good thing because that was something that I was worried about. So at the anatomy scan, they also can tell you the size and the weight and how that correlates with the average size baby. And so this little baby is above average in size and weight. So we're looking at possibly having maybe a big baby. So that's kind of exciting because it's good to know that the baby is gaining weight and that he or she is bigger, maybe longer, should say longer than the average baby. So this baby might be taking after daddy, which he's pretty tall and I'm Polly Pocket size, really small. So that's a good thing. I was happy to hear that. So I had some blood tests done at week 22. Need to reposition myself because I'm getting uncomfortable here. So I had 2 different blood tests. One for my thyroid, which I do have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and it requires for me to take Synthroid every single day, and I needed to take that still through my pregnancy so that it prevents neurological defects in the baby, and it hasn't interfered with the development of the baby or the progression of my pregnancy. Thankfully, it's been something that's been pretty safe for me to take, and so my blood work came back with normal levels at my current dose. So I've been on this dose since, I think, November. Late October, early November is when they upped my dose to 150, so it's been stable right there for a big chunk of time, so that's really good. So my second blood test was done because I had mentioned in a previous update that I started to feel like my skin was itchy, and when you Google itchy skin during pregnancy, a couple things will come up if you do the search, and so it's a simple blood test that's done. So it could just be a normal thing because of the skin stretching, and like my belly itches sometimes, but that's normal because my belly is a lot bigger. So are my boobs. They have gotten bigger, like double in size, so I thought that's normal. And that very well could be normal. But every now and again I'll get like an itch on my hands, or maybe like a tickling sensation at the bottom of my feet, maybe sometimes on my shin or something like that. It's not to the point where it's keeping me up at night or I'm like giving myself scabs, so it's not that bad. It's very manageable, thankfully. I can put some lotion on or put some Aquaphor and it goes away and I'm fine. So at that appointment, when I went there for a prenatal appointment, the doctor said that it might be a good idea to just do a simple blood test to see if everything looks good, because you could have normal itching because of pregnancy. It could be something abbreviated PUPS, which if you have it, it would be itching, skin, and a rash. I've never had a rash thus far. And the other one, it could be cholestasis, which involves the liver, and online it says the gallbladder as well, which is a lot more dangerous for the baby. So that's why I went ahead and did the blood work. Waited forever at the labs to get that done because there was so many people there, and I almost didn't do it. So I'm really glad that I did, because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't something really serious. So at that appointment, I had the blood work done, and the previous thyroid levels that I did a couple weeks before, they gave me the results there, and the doctor just kind of quickly went over the anatomy scan photos, said everything looks great. They're not concerned about anything. The weight gain at that appointment was 24 pounds. So I had put on a little less than 2 pounds or so since the previous week. So in week 23, I get a phone call from my doctor with the blood results for the itchy skin. And this is where I want to take a moment to kind of talk about it, because I was diagnosed with cholestasis, which is the worst condition that you can have that's attributed to itchy skin, which means that my liver function is slowing down, which normally happens anyways in pregnancy, and just like your digestion and everything else kind of slows down because the focus is on developing a baby and protecting that baby and making sure the baby has everything he or she needs. So everything kind of slows down with mom, which is normal. So that what cholestasis is basically where some bile acids are kind of seeping into my blood, and that can cause a problem with the baby. It is something that is treatable. There is a medication that is safe to take during pregnancy, and it is called Ursodol. So I take that 3 times a day, and I try to space them out a few hours in between each dose in conjunction with my Synthroid and my prenatal. So I'm taking about 5 pills a day, which sucks, but I have to do it because the worst side effect, or the worst thing that can happen if you have cholestasis and it's not treated and monitored, is a stillbirth, which is very scary. And so that week, I started off the week pretty bumpy because I was worried, and I still am. The only thing I can do is hope and pray that everything will be okay and continue to take my medicine and continue to be monitored. But it just kind of feels like it's one thing after another with this pregnancy, and it's just been one hurdle after another that I have to keep jumping. And so, that is unfortunate, and there's no way for me to predict how this is going to play out, or how this pregnancy is going to go, or my third pregnancy, and how many other pregnancies I have after this. Like, there's just no way to know how your body's going to handle that and what's going to happen throughout a 40-week pregnancy. So I have to deliver the baby by 37 weeks. So that puts me in the April timeframe for baby arriving, because I can not go past the 37-week mark because of the rate of stillbirths increases significantly at that point. So I want to ask more questions at my next appointment, which is coming up. And then at the next update that I film for you guys, I will post or share the information from there as far as, the stress test that I have to do, which is twice a week. And then, see, because I have to be induced. So I may be able to schedule my induction day coming up in February, or maybe not. So I don't know, but we're planning on baby's arrival being in April. So it's several weeks in advance, because my due date wasn't until mid-May or so, and that's just kind of like a guesstimate. Baby comes when baby's ready. So I will keep you guys posted on that, and I have some questions that I'm going to ask, and then I'll come back and do updates and stuff like that. But I did want to make sure that I talked about the cholestasis, and if you're watching and you're pregnant and you've had some itchy skin, or your hands kind of itch here and there, or maybe your feet or something like that, don't feel like it's stupid and silly like I did to bring it up. I'm like, just put lotion on and you'll be fine. Like, that's what I was thinking, but it turns out that it's something a lot more serious. So you have to be really careful with it. You just don't want to take chances when you're pregnant. So it's better to speak up and say something than to not, and then something bad happens, So if you are watching and you're pregnant, just a simple blood test. They take 1 tube of blood, and you'll know for sure, and you'll have peace of mind. And that, to me, is worth getting pricked by the needle. And the overall health of the baby is most important. So I'll take whatever pills I need to take for this little baby to be well and healthy and finally be here. So that was the big thing in week 23. That week I also started noticing that I was getting heartburn every single night, and I started realizing that certain things like garlic is a big thing for me as far as kickstarting the heartburn. Without a doubt, after like a couple bites of something with garlic, it's there and I feel it. So that is something that causes me to have the heartburn. Also, when I eat pico de gallo or like guac, maybe the jalapenos, maybe the onions, those types of things I'm realizing are the ones that are the culprits for my heartburn. So I'm trying to kind of stay away from it, but I put garlic in everything, so that's a little hard. Week 23 is when I started doing smaller projects around the house. Like I usually do spring cleaning every spring season or right before the spring starts, but I started that early this time around. I've done a lot of donations. I had to make sure I was recording. I've done a lot of donations. I swapped rooms, so my son now has my old beauty space, so I need to find another place to film. So we're going to be transitioning and you'll see different backgrounds until I figure something out. So my son's old room is now the nursery, which we have cleaned, disinfected. I vacuumed, shampooed the carpets, and my husband was able to put the crib up already. We have the swing, which if you follow me on Snapchat, you've already seen those things. But I'll do a nursery update for those of you here on YouTube that don't follow me on Snapchat. So small projects, things that I can handle. I'm not lifting anything or doing anything crazy. If I need something lifted, I will have my husband help me with that. And I started noticing that I'm feeling more tired and a loss of energy towards the end of the day and just feeling more uncomfortable. I don't know why, but it's towards the end of the night as I'm getting my son in his bath and getting his clothes ready and his lunch ready for the next day. I start to feel very tired and just uncomfortable. And the lower back aches are definitely something that I'm dealing with, but I refuse to take medication or Tylenol for it, and I just kind of power through it. But the lower back has become a problem, and it's pretty much daily at this point because of all the weight of the baby. Everything is shifting, and so it was really hard. Also, I have on my notes that week 23, not only did I get my results for the cholestasis, but I also started my medication that week. And the last thing I have for that week was that I got sick again, which in my previous videos, you may have noticed congestion, the sound of it in my voice. I still feel a little raspy sometimes in my throat. I still have some congestion. Thankfully, I'm still able to breathe well throughout the night. But that has been there since days before Christmas. Like, it just doesn't want to go away. So I think it might just be a pregnancy thing. And so the final week is week 24. And this week is just the same with the backaches as the previous week that started. And the heartburn, still taking my meds. Notice swelling in my feet, so I have to prop up my feet, and that is a common pregnancy symptom, swelling hands and feet. So that's kind of a fun thing to see your feet so swollen, and you can feel it when you walk, and it's uncomfortable. This week I also started going more frequently to the bathroom during the night. I do go to the bathroom a lot. Like, I can't seem to hold my bladder for very long, and I think it's just because baby's putting so much pressure, and baby is kicking a lot and moving a lot, that I feel like I have to pee every 5 minutes, and I'm going to the bathroom multiple times. I used to only go maybe twice a night. Now it's like 3 times a night, and sometimes it's been a little more than that. If I drank too much water before bed, which is the thing because I'm super thirsty, and I always have my thermal flask with iced water, sometimes lemon in it as well. I go through tons of these in a day just to stay hydrated, and that could also be a culprit too with the frequent night trips to the bathroom. So the biggest project for this week, week 24, well, for week 24, is the nursery. So we put the crib together, we put the swing together, we have the playpen already taken out of the shipping box. I still haven't had a chance to organize the clothes and wash the clothes. I need to get a baby detergent. And I have the bedding for the crib, which I haven't washed yet, so I haven't put them up. I need to get some more knickknacks. We did order the dresser, changing table, extra furniture pieces for the nursery, so when those come in, I will share that on social media with you guys. And I'll also film it eventually, a full nursery tour, which I'm excited about. And that's the biggest thing that we're focusing on now. I've decluttered my room. I've donated a lot of my clothes that I haven't been using over the last 2 years, and just kind of cleaning and getting this house ready for baby and also for guests that will be coming. They will start trickling in over the course of the summer to come meet the new baby. The last little update for week 24 is significantly stronger baby movements. And I mentioned that the baby movements were pretty strong in my last update covering up to week 20, but they've gotten a lot stronger, and it's a normal thing to experience because baby gets stronger and is more active. And I've also started to be able to notice patterns with baby movements. So when I'm sitting and laying down, those are the most active times for the baby, especially at night. Sometimes when I'm sitting and eating, lots of movements. But my app says that my movements, as far as if I'm moving around, walking a lot, that kind of sways the baby, so you may not feel as much. And it could put the baby to sleep. Whereas when you're sitting, the baby's like, what's going on here? And it tends to wake up the baby. So I'm going to do a pregnancy essentials because I have a couple apps, some things like skincare, body care things that I use, my pregnancy pillow that I use, just little things like that that I feel like are really helpful. Some helpful resources as well, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested. But that is the update for weeks 21, 22, 23, and 24. So that's a month's worth of updates. So be on the lookout for the next update, which will be another 4 weeks of updates in a video because we are getting pretty close. I don't have much longer before baby's here. And I do want to share the gender. I'm not going to do a gender reveal with the black balloon full of confetti or the poppers because my reaction won't be very authentic because I've known for a long time already at this point, and I've already purchased a lot of things to match the gender. So I will have to figure out ways to kind of incorporate some little clips, little something, and then kind of just share it with you guys in a short, sweet little video. So be on the lookout for that. I think I'm going to work on that this week. So that's exciting. I can't wait to share with you guys. I asked you guys in the last update to leave me your gender guesses down in the comment section. If it's a boy, if you think it's a girl. So I'm going to insert, like I said, photos, but I will do a quick little shot of what my belly looks like now. Okay, and then here it's the belly shot with a very loose shirt. And if it's a little tighter, you can see it, but I live in these types of shirts that are just so loose and comfortable. And leggings. Alright, so this is what the belly looks like without my shirt. I just lifted it up, kind of pulled my leggings down. I've been living in leggings for a very long time, but this is the belly. Here's the side. And then the front. The line there has gotten a little bit darker. And then here's the other side. So I hope that you guys enjoy this. I hope that you guys found this helpful. For those of you who are watching and are interested in pregnancy updates and want to keep up with what's going on, or if you're watching and you're pregnant, I hope that your pregnancy is going really well. And I do appreciate you guys so much for being here, for tuning into these videos, for subscribing, for always being so kind in the comments. You don't know how much that means to me. So thank you so much for being you. I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you guys very soon.